what's anchoring, why it's beneficial for you, and how do you do it. Stay tuned. What's up, folks? Peace and cheers as always. Mark Mihalovic, aka the Flying Health Coach. So I'm super stoked for this video because it's going to be about anchoring. What is anchoring, why it's important, but more importantly, how do you do it, right? So I'm super excited for this one because it's such a simple thing that you can do for yourself in the moment to put you in a state that you want to be in. It almost sounds too good to be true sometimes, right? But this is part of neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP for short. If you're not sure what neuro-linguistic programming is, definitely chat GPT it or Claude that or AI it or Google it, whatever. But look into it. It's fascinating stuff to really learn the language of your mind. And as you learn the language of your mind, you can better control your mind, which is going to better give you the progress that you want to see in your life. So let's talk about anchoring. So what is an anchor? So for some context, this will be kind of morbid, but let's just think about it, right? So if you've ever been, unfortunately, been to like a funeral, right? Especially for a loved one. So if you think back to that funeral, let's say during like your peak emotional state, somebody just put their hand on a specific part of your shoulder, your arm, or they put their hand on your head, kind of weird, but you get my drift. But during a peak emotional state, let's say at a funeral where emotions are obviously pretty high, but at your peak state, someone applied a physical act to you. That's an anchor, right? That's developing a really strong neural connection in your brain. So, and you might have wondered, right, down the road, if someone else touches you at that exact same spot, all of a sudden that same emotion's been triggered again. You're like, why am I thinking about that right now? What just happened? That's an anchor. It's a strong neural connection. So that's what an anchor is. It's a kinesthetic action that's linked to a specific state of mind in your head. So now the goal is we want to be able to utilize that to your benefit, right? So essentially, you're going to learn today how you can put yourself in a peak state. Confidence, motivation, whatever it might be, right? Whatever state you want to put yourself in, especially it's really good to use when you feel like yourself kind of getting unmotivated or you don't feel like you're in a good state of mind. You can just simply apply an anchor. I know it sounds crazy, but you have to trust me on this and try it. Apply yourself an anchor and bam, you put yourself in the state that you need to be in to be the best version of yourself in that moment moving forward, okay? So it's a good technique, it's a good tool to use. So that's what anchoring is, right? It's a kinesthetic action that's linked to a specific state of mind, a desired state of mind. I know I talked about being at a funeral. It's not, I'm sure no one desires to be in like a sad, pissed off state, so don't do that type of anchoring, right? But why it's beneficial? It's pretty obvious why it's beneficial, right? It's beneficial when, let's say you're at a sporting event, or if you're even like beer league softball or you're kickball, or you want to go approach that guy or girl, right? Or whatever, right? You're going to go to a big business meeting, or you're going to go give a speech, or whatever it is you're going to do. And all of a sudden you catch yourself kind of feeling nervous, right? You catch yourself kind of being in a very off-putting state where it's like, oh, I don't know if I should, I don't know, I'm kind of getting second thoughts about this. Part of me says I should do this, a part of me says I shouldn't, right? And that part that says you shouldn't do it's starting to get stronger and stronger and stronger to a point where now you talk yourself out of it. So why is an anchor beneficial? Because you can apply that anchor in that moment to get yourself back in that peak state you need to be in to go do whatever said action is that you're telling yourself that you need to do or want to do, okay? So it's pretty straightforward why you should get good at anchoring yourself to put yourself in a better state of mind, in a more peak state, if you will. So the question is, how do you do it, right? And the process is actually pretty simple to do. It just requires you to get really good at tapping into your visual, auditory, and kinesthetic senses, right? Visual, obviously, you have to bring yourself back in a positive moment. You have to associate yourself in a previous, right, positive state. You want to be able to hear all the sounds that were around you, and you want to feel all the feelings, right, your kinesthetic feeling. So as an example, let's say you want to anchor confidence, okay? Now, before I get to, I guess, the steps, let's talk about applying the anchor, right? Because then it'll make a little more sense to talk about the steps. So applying an anchor. The anchor has to be something unique to you. It shouldn't be clapping your hands, right? Because you probably clap your hands a lot. A good way to look at anchoring is touching a knuckle, right? Touching one of the knuckles, because it's not something you probably do on a consistent basis. Maybe it's touching your ear, touching an ankle, squeezing your nose. Point is, it's a physical act you do to yourself that is very unique to you, and it's something that you don't do a lot, right? Again, if you clap on your hands all the time, the anchor's not going to work because it's just too much. You need to do something very, very unique. So before you go through the steps to apply an anchor, you have to decide, A, what state of mind do you want to put yourself in? But B, also, am I going to use my knuckle? Am I just going to pinch my fingers? Am I going to, squeeze my earlobe, pinch my nose? Whatever. Doesn't matter, but it has to be unique to you, okay? So what state do you want to be in and how you're going to apply the anchor. So now, what are the steps to anchoring? Well, you have to put yourself, right? You have to go back in time and you have to think of a time when did I feel super confident, right? What moment in time was I was so confident in what I was doing? It doesn't matter what you were doing, right? If you're, let's say, trying to go talk to a guy or a girl, right? And you're not confident in doing it. Think of a time in the past when you felt just super confident, right? Whatever the moment was, but let's use that as an example. So you want to go talk to a guy or a girl, right? You think it's super cute and you just want to go do it. But you're scared, rightfully so. You need confidence. So you put yourself back in the past to a time when maybe you gave a really great speech in front of a lot of people. Maybe it really doesn't matter, but you have to think of a moment where you just felt so confident in yourself that nothing could stop you, okay? So it helps to close your eyes, and first you need to visualize it. You need to be in what's called an associated state. You need to be viewing that from your own eyes, right? So that's first things you got to do here. You got to put yourself back into that state, into that previous past experience, and sit there and visualize it. Visualize it. Listen to what all sounds do you hear, right? Everything that you see, everything that you hear, and then especially how did you feel, right? What did that confidence feel like? Where did you feel it, right? And really get specific with these emotions, right? Because you want to bring up the real raw, intensity of that moment, right? So as you're doing that, here's the easy part, right? As that anchor, as that intensity of that moment peaks, right? As you really start to just feel confident and really start to feel yourself and you're like, hell yeah, let's go. And you're just feeling it. That's when you apply the anchor, right? You apply the anchor and you hold it there. You keep holding it there and holding it there. And the second that peak, that intensity starts to drop off, you want to release the anchor, okay? And that's the process of anchoring. Now, when you do that, you want to test to see if it works, right? So you've put yourself back in that state. You're in an associated state. You're seeing everything. You're hearing everything as if you were there. You're feeling all the feels. You feel the intensity of it. It starts to rise up. As it gets to its peak, you apply the anchor, right? Whether that's maybe here, maybe that's there. Maybe you smack your chest, right? Maybe smacking your chest is a good one because you want to hold it. Maybe you hit your knuckle, whatever, a knuckle, but you hold it there until the peak of that intensity starts to drop off. You release that anchor, okay? That's you applying anchor. Now, the next thing that you want to do is you got to break your state, right? Get yourself out of that moment, right? Shake it out, do something. Get yourself out of that state. Once you're out of that state and that intensity is gone, then you want to test, reapply that anchor, and see if what you did worked, and see if you can just, because the goal is, right, you want to be able to apply that anchor and snap yourself back into that moment, snap yourself back into that confident feeling right away. That's what anchoring is. Now, the more times you do that, the more times you repeat it, right, because repetition is the mother of skill, the more times you do that, the more powerful and strong it's going to be. So if you do practice this, and guys, trust me, this does work, right? I've used a lot of techniques here I never thought I would use in my entire life, and this one works. Works very well. So you did one confident moment, maybe you can think of another confident moment. Take yourself back to that moment. Apply that anchor again, right? You're building up these anchors on that anchor point of confidence or motivation or whatever it might be for you, right? That's up to you what you want to what state you want to anchor. But the more you repeat it, the more you practice it, the more you can apply that anchor and quickly access that state. You'll be able to do it in a heartbeat, okay? And you'll put yourself right back in that state of mind to then go perform whatever set action you're trying to do right now. Again, I know this stuff kind of sounds weird, but look it up. I highly encourage you to, again, ChatGPT, Google anchoring NLP, or NLP anchoring, whatever. You'll find articles on it. You'll probably find other ways to do it. There's probably more videos on YouTube on how to do it. But this is my version. I like to keep things relatively simple if I can, but give it a shot. Trust me, it's worth your time. So, as always, folks, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I don't know why I always do that, but like and subscribe button up there, but you really got to click down there. My email, flyinghealthcoach@gmail.com. Again, your first coaching session is free to see if coaching is a good fit for you. And obviously, we vibe, right? If it's a good fit, cool. Move on from there. Then last but not least, my book, Flying Health Coach Guide, How to Start to Un-F Your Life. Free 14-page download on my YouTube on the link section below. If you like what you read, sweet. If you don't, that's cool too. If you like what you read, you can get the copy of the book for $6.99 on lulu.com. And as always, guys, I do these videos because I want to maybe help your mind go down a different rabbit hole. I want to help you think differently. All in all, for you to become the best version of yourself. Remember, guys, you just got to believe.